They say you can't go home again. Well, Josh Harris, the Washington Commanders, and Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser are about to prove all of them wrong. That right now on Locked On Commanders.
You are Locked On Commanders, your daily podcast on the Washington Commanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what's up, and welcome inside today's episode of Locked On Commanders. I am your host, David Harrison, here with you every Monday through Friday, on occasion during the weekend, on occasion during bonus episodes, just like this one. I'm your friend, your eyes, your ears on the ground, covering the Washington Commanders, doing so for WUSA9.com, your local CBS affiliate in Washington, D.C., and for Sports Illustrated's CommanderGameDay.com. I want to thank you for coming through today. On today's episode, we are talking about the Washington Commanders returning home. That is worth a bonus episode all of its own. Everydayers, those of you who come through for every single episode, greatly appreciate you coming through. For all the regulars, but also this bonus episode, anybody out there, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe now for free on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this episode. And if you're new to the show, welcome. I'm glad you found us just in time for some of the biggest news this offseason that's not going to affect the on-field product, but certainly is going to impact the standing of the organization, the morale of the fan base. Certainly a lot of things going on here. Locked On Commanders is a daily podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Typically, our episodes run 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the topic, depending on what's going on. This is a bonus episode, so a little bit of a shorter episode. So again, typically, we have a little bit more time to discuss these things. But here on this bonus episode, we are, of course, talking about the Washington Commanders returning home to the site of the old RFK Stadium site. The team last called the site of RFK Stadium home in 1996, but now we'll be heading back with the proposed timeline being 2030 to try and open up that stadium. It's great news for Washington Commanders fans. It's great news for the Washington Commanders organization as far as I'm concerned. In fact, as we've gone through this whole stadium saga, right, the question has always been, is it going to be Washington, D.C.? Of course, there were some hurdles to clear there with the government and who's going to control the land and the 99-year lease, 100-year lease, all that stuff. Also, Maryland currently hosting the team in Landover, Northwest Stadium, previously called FedEx Field. They wanted to keep the stadium. Virginia had thrown their name in the ring a little bit, although their interest and their true candidacy kind of seemed to fade really as time went on. Of course, Virginia already hosts the team's practice facility headquarters. So, they've already kind of got their involvement there. And I think that's a little bit of a big part of this as well. But overall, I mean, everybody, look, I live in Northern Virginia. You know what I mean? I'm much closer to Ashburn than I am to Landover or even to Washington, D.C. So selfishly, I've said in multiple conversations, everydayers will remember that selfishly, I'd love if the stadium moved to Sterling, right? Sterling, Virginia was one of the options. But if Washington, D.C. is a true option, even I, in my selfishness, had to admit RFK is the place to go. You know what I mean? Like the history there is it just has to be done. So it's great news for Commanders fans as the team returns to relevancy on the field. Now you can celebrate having a franchise quarterback, celebrate having a team that just made it to the NFC Championship game, 2 straight drafts where you really seem to have gotten true blue Commanders that fit what this team is trying to do. A head coach in Dan Quinn who's got the messaging of the franchise, got the culture of the franchise firmly in grip. A lot of things to celebrate. And by the time this team opens up their new home, hopefully they'll be bringing a nice brand new Lombardi to come back with the 3 that the franchise earned at RFK Stadium while they called RFK Stadium home, back with it and bring a little bit of this part of the history, what's about to become history with the older history, back to the new site. As we do this on Monday, we're going to meet with several important people in the process, including representatives from Mayor Bowser's office and the Washington Commanders organization. Mayor Bowser sending a video out early Monday morning announcing officially that the deal had been struck. Press conference scheduled for 11 a.m. to answer further questions. And of course, previous reports had reported the stadium cost was going to exceed $3 billion, but Josh Harris, the Washington Commanders, were going to do a lot to kind of help out that bill. And of course, also not just a stadium, but hopefully housing, parking, hotels, retail spaces, even more potentially to come in the whole new deal. And ideally, it would help the district as a whole attract other major events, the NFL draft, Super Bowl, concerts. Of course, every stadium wants to host concerts. So a lot going into this. It's a football stadium up front. Obviously, that's where we're going to focus a lot of our attention, but it should be so much more. So what's coming up next? A lot of planning, a lot of information needs to come out. So we'll cover a lot of what's to come in the future. Coming up next on this bonus episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we're going to do that thanks to our friends over at Amazon Fire TV. Did you know that your Amazon Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. The latest technology and elevated playing helps you out. You're at Wi-Fi, your auto low latency mode, advanced technology. Fire TV Stick 4K delivers smooth, more responsive gameplay with lightning fast speeds that you need to stay competitive. And with 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes with your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus Max, and more. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. This bonus episode of Locked On Commanders also brought to you by Nissan. And with Nissan, you're getting the all-new Nissan 2025 Nissan Armada. Our player of the week, it's got to be the Commanders fans. It's got to be you, Commanders fans. Each week, we're taking a look at the players of the week that really stand apart, the people that showcase the strength and the power of the Commanders organization and help fuel all of the efforts moving forward. And just like Dan Quinn said before, especially that Atlanta Falcons home game, the fan base helps keep the juice going, helps the players keep going. They appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming through for this episode. And I'll tell you, texting insiders about this new stadium deal really got me motivated for what the fan base is about to go through. And I can't wait to see you all out there at the new stadium when that time comes in 2030. So when it comes to Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer. That is exactly what Commanders fans do. Nobody has conquered getting through the hard times better than Commanders fans. I think you can all agree with that. It's clear that our player of the week, you, is out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any one of their outstanding vehicles. Take the Armada, the Rogue, or the Pathfinder. Go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. Thanks again for coming through for this bonus episode of Locked On Commanders, talking about this new stadium deal that was announced on Monday. Again, big moment for the fans. I don't think that moment can be kind of dispelled. Again, I just said it, but texting a lot of insiders about this deal overnight and in the morning, like just the excitement is coming through. And I'll tell you, I feel your excitement. And so I really dig it. Even some of the insiders aren't living in the area. You know what I mean? Now, there's some who said, look, not going to be able to make it out there. So it's great news. Not as excited as some of the ones who, live in the backyard and things like that. But look, if you don't live in the area, you've got 5 years. You've got 4 years, really, right, to really fully plan your trip, right? Try to get it done. Head out and be part of that inaugural season. See the new stadium while it's still brand new. But of course, even if you can't attend the stadium, right, I think everybody agrees there's an emotional attachment to it. You know what I mean? And everydayers who've been part of the show for a while now know, like, I didn't grow up in the DMV, all these things. I was in the Army. I retired here in Virginia. So I'm a transplant, just like a lot of people are in the DMV area. I don't live in the DMV, but, in this region, there's a lot of transplants, all these things. But even I know, right, not even living around the history my whole life, that is just where this franchise belongs. Josh Harris knows that. Remember when he took over the organization, became the managing partner of the Washington Commanders, he shared that story and he's shared it multiple times since about him being a kid, walking up to RFK and just the sights, the sounds, the pride, the excitement, you know what I mean? And wanting to bring that back because he's an owner, but he's also a fan. And this is a moment for him as well. And he's previously commented that he's not going to leave Maryland in a lurch. I know there's been a lot of conversations about that. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but Josh Harris wants the Washington Commanders to truly represent the DMV and just the greater D.C., Maryland, Virginia, like, not just the DMV. The DMV is a smaller part of that region, but everybody in Maryland, everybody in Virginia, he wants it all. Every Commanders fan out there wants to be represented. So I feel like, stadium in D.C., team practice facility in Virginia, I don't know, business office maybe in Maryland. Like, I just feel like there's something coming down the pipe that, the Washington Commanders will have a presence in Maryland. Not sure what it's going to be, but they'll have that there. I mean, I don't think they're going anywhere from Ashburn. There's a lot of upgrades, a lot of money going into Ashburn in that facility. So I don't think they're going to be leaving there anytime soon. And, obviously I enjoy that. I appreciate that. But I think Maryland will still be able to have a firm hold and connection with the organization as well. So stadium designs are really cool. I've seen the one that went out, earlier, kind of a mock-up. Some people loved it. Some people thought it looked like a burgundy Pringles can or something like that. You know what I mean? So a lot of ideas. I just feel like, hopefully somehow, some way they get like something into the background, you know what I mean? A monument, a building, like some sort of landscape to be visible from the stadium. I think that would be really dope. Look, the franchise, like I said, last one, their Super Bowls inside RFK. They win them inside RFK, but that was their home when they won them. So again, like I said, it'd be nice to see if they could bring a new one in. Jaden Daniels be entering year 7, I think, in 2030. Should be hitting his prime, doing those things. Could be a very exciting time. And look, 2030 would be the franchise's 99th year of existence, dating back to its Boston roots. So having the stadium ready to go, get a year to break it in and figure out, hey, maybe this part needs to be replaced or this part needs to be repaired in time for the 100th year celebration. That would be great. Of course, 5 years later, you could be celebrating 100 years of being Washington's football team. And that was the celebration I think a lot of people would really look forward to. So exciting day, lots of information. We'll continue to talk about all of it. I'm going to take as many notes as I can, send them to insiders, but also share as many as I can here on the program. So make sure you come back for our next episode. In the meantime, if you want to be a part of those text messages, that information and everything else that you can get there, all you got to do is go to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnCommanders. From there, you'll get text messages from me. You can send them to me. It's a really good time. Next, listen, check out the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast. And as always, thank you for coming through for Locked On Commanders, making this your first listen of the day, every day. Thank you for coming through for every episode, including these bonus episodes. Until we speak again, if you're out and about, please be safe, be kind. So I can see you right back here next time for another episode of Locked On Commanders, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.